So, hello guys, welcome to another weekly MSI demo. Today we have really lots of exciting updates and we are hosting it from another event this month. This is Kyiv Contribution Day and Meetup organized by Atwix, and the first to talk today would be Alex, who is one of the event organizers. He will introduce what's happening here and what's the agenda for the following 2 days.
Hey, Eugene. I assume that you already passed the word to me, so I'll probably go ahead and give you guys a little bit of updates on what's happening here in Kyiv right now. So we are about to start our meetup. It will be in 1 hour. We expect around 70-80 people. And that's really exciting because today we also have Alexander Kravchuk, and he will be talking about his work on MSI in-store pickup feature, which is, I think, really great to hear both merchants and developers. So yeah, that's one of the talks. We're also going to have 3 other speakers, including Victoria from Atwix, who's going to tell us about latest commerce trends. And also Igor will be talking on the event, and Vadim from Tech Division. So pretty great lineup of speakers. And tomorrow we have Contribution Day, which will be supported by Igor and Eugene. So that's also going to be huge. We expect about 50 people. And yeah, hopefully we'll deliver a lot of pull requests to in-store pickup as well as into other projects. Yeah, if you have any questions about this meetup or any other events, just let me know and we'll be happy to answer and help. So Eugene, I think that's it. Passing the word back to you.
Thank you, Alex. We're really enjoying the event location for now, and I hope the event would be even better. Okay, so now we are going to follow our agenda, and due to technical issues, we'll skip the stock expert for now. So I would kindly invite Ricardo to talk about inventory reservation CLI, which was implemented during the last Meetup and Contribution Day in Perugia, actually last week. So please, guys, if you have anything to share.
I don't know if I have to check because it is not me, it is not Ricardo. Me is my colleague, but I'm not sure he's online. Yeah, he should be.
Hello, hi everyone.
Okay.
Oh, hello.
Some technical issue, maybe?
Something like that.
Okay, we can hear you.
Just give me a second, please. Time I can show you my work. Do you hear me?
Igor,
We
maybe Eugene, maybe we can skip to someone else because I think Ricardo is having some technical
Sure,
issues.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, I just seen somebody's screen.
Okay, I think I'm ready. You guys can see my screen?
Not anymore.
Now?
Oh, yeah, we can see it now.
Okay. So, This is the structure of my command clear. I created a method that extracts all the reservation without compensation on a database, and this is the method. At first time, I extract all the reservation list, and I can't filter the reservation with a query because in MySQL 5.7 there is no JSON extract and so on, so I have to just extract all the reservation. Here you can see when I have all the reservation list, I just I just take all the state of orders. As you can see here, with a query build in a repository API, I take all the state, all order in a final state. Complete, closed, cancelled. Okay, in this part, after I get all the order, I just iterate all the list of orders and print the order in a final state. And that's it. You can print the order in two different kind, with raw output for another clear command, or with a pretty pretty output. Sorry.
Okay, so maybe I think you should do some kind of introduction to this CLI command, because probably most of the people don't know exactly what is this for. I can explain for you if you want. So basically, this CLI command is to find out what are all the orders, or well, actually reservation that are in inconsistent status. So basically, when you migrate from 2.2 to 2.3, you probably have some order with uncompensated reservation. So this CLI command just extract from the database all the orders and products in inconsistent status. So it is quite useful even for even if you have a running 2.3 environment and you have something going wrong with your inventory. So you see quantities that are not perfectly aligned and you want to know why. So you can run this command. And maybe, Ricardo, if you run this command in your screen, we can see how it works exactly.
Yes, can you see my screen?
We just see PHP store.
Yep. Okay, give me a second.
Okay, we see you.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, so for example, in this case, we have one compensation problem, and this CLI command just show us we have something going wrong in one order. I cannot read exactly because it's quite small here. And it also say what is the product and how much it should be compensated to go back to a zero condition.
Okay.
Is that correct?
Yes, it's correct. And this is the raw output.
Yeah, Ricardo decided also to add this raw output. So you can, for example, use as pipeline to another command. Maybe you want to create some automated tool. It's quite useful, I think. And I think it's all you want to do, right?
Yes, at this moment is all, I think.
Okay, thank you guys for the presentation.
Yeah, so just a small update. So currently we have this tool which highlight all these orders and all the products which are affected in the scope of these orders, because quite an interesting fact that we not because potentially even in the scope of an order we could have some SKUs which were counted correctly, and along with that we could have some SKU for which we don't have the proper compensated reservation because, for example, because of the partial shipment functionality, so that we initially place an order and fully fulfill the order for particular SKU, and for all those which are not fulfilled, we for some reason can have inconsistent state. So that this tool will determine the inconsistency not just on the level of order, but on the level of, let's say, order item. And the output of this tool will provide us the order reference, the SKU, and the quantity which is considered like which is not compensated. So that particular, just an example, if the initial order been placed for 10 items, and the initial reservation created for minus 10 item, and then it was a partial shipment, and correspondingly plus 5 reservation for plus 5 was created. So here we still have a gap for plus 5. So we still need to compensate the order for 5 items. And if for some reason that order been closed or completed or cancelled, and there was no proper compensation or reservation created, this tool is supposed to show us the order ID, the SKU, and the minus and the plus 5, so that this quantity should be compensated in the scope of this order to make the saleable quantity of the particular SKU correct. So this is one tool which was currently demonstrated by both Ricardos. So we have double Ricardo power. And currently we are working on another tool which is supposed to compensate. So currently we have a tool which is supposed to highlight the inconsistency, and another tool which is supposed to fix the inconsistency. And that inconsistency gonna be fixed with creation of compensational reservation. We will introduce a new type of reservation. We will call them manual adjustment reservation, so that in this particular case we will see that we don't have the proper reservation for plus 5 items, so that this new tool is supposed to compensate particular order, adding plus 5 to particular SKU on the particular stock in the scope of the particular order with the object type. So in our reservations are created in the scope of the business event, so the business event gonna be manual adjustment. And the pretty interesting fact here that we are not removing existing reservation, we are just compensating them, so that potentially if something went wrong, admins still have a chance just to see what was compensated and may make some additional adjustment on top of that. So this is pretty safe way to fixing the reservation quantity. And this is another ticket, and and we are working on it right now, and also Ricardo is involved in these activities. So thank you guys for this presentation. This is pretty nice feature, and especially now when we see quite a lot of merchants started to migrate on Magento 2.3.1, because we especially see quite a lot of migration and the MSI activity after the Magento 2.3.1 was released. We see quite a lot of appeals and requests to see and request to us from people from third-party developers who realize that their saleable quantity is differ from the total availability quantities on all that sources. And actually the main reason for that is the open orders at the time of migration from the old version of Magento to the new one. or like some some incorrect way of placing order, because probably like we've faced with an issue like developers face some problem, and they try to resolve that problem just specifying manage inventory false, and so that they placed orders with this configuration value, and then they just switch on the inventory manageability, so that they also like didn't have the initial reservation created, and they created the compensational reservation, so that they have the incorrect sellable quantity, and they need somehow to compensate these problematic orders. And this tool would be definitely pretty handy for all those developers and merchants who are at migration stage and who will try to make their inventory quantity consistent. So this is pretty much all regarding that story. Thank you, guys. So Eugen, please continue.
Thank you, guys. This was really detailed, and I think this is really a valuable addition to our MSI suite, feature suite, because more and more people are upgrading and getting this kind of like confusion with the reservation. So the next one on our agenda is Danilo with really interesting pull requests regarding the compatibility and support of the new inventory in the Magento Commerce Edition and B2B. So if you're on the call, would be really nice to hear from you.
Hey people, I share my screen. Do you see?
Yes, we can see it.
Okay. This is the issue where when we try to order by quick order in the community, in the commerce version, by searching a product, the check on the availability is not working well. Okay, this is the precondition. We have 3 sources on this product, and this is the initial state where searching a product, we see the product is out of stock when this is not true, and what I do is this. On this class, we had a protected method that check the product is out of stock. I move all the content of this protected method inside an external class, an interface, and this is just the old content of the method. In this way, we can preference it this way in a module, in a specific module for that I call the inventory advanced checkout, where we use the correct way to get the stock availability of the product. And the result is this. Moment. Okay, now it works in the correct way. I create a pull request on Magento Partners EE that Eugene is helping me to complete it. I think now it is complete. When this is merged, I can create a new pull request in the MSI context to preference the new interface. That's all.
Thank you very much. This is a really great presentation, especially when we can see that it really works. And I think if you already have the code for the MSI part, feel free to submit a pull request targeting MSI at the same time, and we will be processing them simultaneously. So we'll be trying to merge them as soon as possible, so this feature is available in the scope of the next release.
Okay, I need to talk about this before make the pull request to check if this is the correct way. Riccardo, can you help me to explain the problem to create?
I don't know if now is the right time to do it.
Okay.
So
yeah,
we have been working together with this. My question was why a preference instead of a plugin, but I don't know if now it is the right time to discuss about this.
We can continue the discussion offline after the meeting, and we'll definitely figure out all of the questions.
Okay, great.
But thank you very much for the presentation. It was really great.
Thank you.
So the next item on the agenda is also really nice source assignment UI improvements. The source assignment table, which all of us have seen on the product page. That grid had some issues. It was not that usable, and Francesco did quite a lot of work to rework that UI and make it much more usable and user-friendly. So I'm now passing the word to Rico or Francesco, whoever is going to present it.
Yeah, I think I will speak for Francesco because Francesco is not here today. So I can show you something. Maybe if Francesco want to add something more, maybe in the next days. So you should see my screen. So basically, there were more than one issue. I think there were 3 issues, but all related to the source assignment that was before his pull request was almost in this state. So basically, it was almost unusable, or at least quite ugly. And what he did is to rework, passing to this condition that you can see from one live installation. So what he did basically was to compress this information by adding one tooltip, because before was default source and the source code. But of course, the merchant will not absolutely care about what is the source code. So basically, showing just the name of the source will be enough. But if you need to know what is the code for maybe debugging purpose, you can just move your mouse over and some additional information. Then you also unified, notify, and use default column, because before was in 2 different columns. That was quite space consuming. And now it is just in one single column. This was quite tricky to do. And plus, you also removed the additional column with unassign that was almost unuseful because we had a quite self-explanatory icon. And basically what he managed to do is to reduce the space of the source assignment and honestly make it slightly better than before. And that's it. Maybe if Francesco will join us in the next MSI meetings, maybe he can explain us how he did it. And that's it.
Thank you very much for the presentation. Actually, all of these items were a part of the bigger task, which we had on our issue tracker at some point, and we have extracted some items from it. And after Francesco's work, it's really nice, but we have filed 2 more tasks related to moving the buttons and hiding the source assignment table at all when there are no sources. So maybe if Francesco or somebody else would like to pick that up, that would be even better. But these the changes Ricardo just presented will be available with the next release. It's already merged into 2.3. All of the automated tests are now updated and passing, so seems to be all good. Okay, now back to our agenda. The next item on the agenda is a web API for partial stock transfer, which allows to basically transfer items between stocks. And I'm going to pass the word to Bettina, who has been working on this pull request during the past week.
Sorry, hi. Sorry, I'm a little bit late. I took down the meeting time wrong. Can you skip to the next item and then come back to me? I'm just
Okay.
Yeah.
Not a problem.
Sorry.
Slava, are you ready to present your part?
Yeah.
Actually, Slava would be talking on behalf of Stepan Furman, who is currently still in a train, and he's still reaching the location of Meetup. That's why he's not able to join the meeting right from the train. That's why Slava will make a presentation on behalf of Stepan.
Okay. So let me share my screen. Okay. So I have used a small profile from Performance Kit, and I have created more than 1,200 products by this profile. And the main idea of this PR is that we should be able to export stock data. And also this export should count aggregated reservation placed during the different operation, placing order, shipment, and so on. So all reservations have to be counted. I'm not so well look at this PR, but here I'm doing our call, get REST API call, and I, as a criteria, may set stock ID. In the system, I have 2 stock ID. Stock ID 1 is default stock, and custom stock have ID 2. So I now sending this call. Take a while because we have 1,200 products here. And because profile using default source and stock we will have zero quantity on this on our default stock, and I have created some additional products. I go down. It's my test products, and I will show you that we have for these products I created 300 quantity, and then I placed it order for these products. So we have some reservations in the system. And as you see that I have inventory on 3 different sources for 100 for each. And after placing order altogether for 30 items, I got stock aggregated quantity, sellable quantity 27. And you may see that our call counted all this reservation, and it show our quantity as 27 items. That's all what I have for today.
Good, thank you, Slava. I believe the next time, so this time we were not prepared, but probably next time we will demonstrate the asynchronous work of this API call, because potentially it can take quite a long time if we will be exporting the stock with a big number of SKUs. And looking at Alex Luzun, who is currently watching this presentation, I just trying to foresee his next question. So we will make a presentation for you during the next demo how they're going to be implemented, the asynchronous export. Probably, so here is another question to Mark regarding this functionality. So as you as Slava just demonstrated us, here we presume all this reservation placed, and we are exporting stock, taking into account what we literally do currently. We iterate all that products, and we are explicitly calling get product saleable quantity. So on a small profile, currently we have 1,200 of product, and for each and any of that product we are calling get product saleable quantity. So potentially on a big profile that could take some some time, and we made some checks on a medium profile. So on medium profile it took more than an hour. And potentially, so the time will grow depending on the catalog size. So what we thought that potentially we can provide 2 possibilities of export. The first one will be very precise and will include all that reservation. Another one could be really quick. For example, if you'll just dump a table, dump an index for particular stock. So that would be pretty much the same as what we are showing on the catalog page or on the search result page. So we will not include reservation, but along with that export would be very, very quick. So the question to Mark, do you consider that this is very valuable to provide an option of making a quick export and the slow export, or like?
Yeah, I think it is a valuable option, and we definitely, if we introduce the quick export, we still need to have the option to do what we call the more accurate export, or the one that takes into consideration all the reservations, so the merchant can decide. But if they're doing something like for sales channels where they need to do this export, it may be more important for them to do it quickly, and they can handle, any reservations that may be there by adjusting their out of stock quantity type things in on the Amazon side. So they can manage those thresholds so that they don't really need the full detail, given that they know how much, orders are typically in flight at any given moment. I don't know if Ryan, if you have any thoughts on this. I've asked Ryan to join as well because he's working on the sales channel side, to see what he thought.
Yeah, sorry, just jumped in a couple seconds ago. Based on it sounds like there's sort of a choice between being able to take reservations into account at the cost of performance, or having a much more performant indexed run that would not include reservations.
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay. All right, cool. Yeah, I think we can work with that. So we discussed when we were talking about implementing MSI, whether or not we could do this with out of stock thresholds and stuff like that. There are some limitations there. So there's actually some latency brought into this by Amazon's reports. So we don't necessarily get totally on time stock coming back from Amazon would be the only issue. So that could introduce the need for higher and higher stock thresholds to the point of 20 units or higher, I guess, obviously depending on sales volume for merchants. But do you know what, I guess, is the performance I guess limitation here? We found a bunch of instances where indexers could be sped up. Is there any long-term opportunity to increase performance, or this would be about the speed for the future of the
This is a bit different in comparison to other data beyond exported, because since Magento 2.3 the quantity became kind of calculatable data, so that to get the precise sellable quantity we always supposed to call the service, and that service under the hood make quite a lot of calculations. So we are aggregating quantity on all the sources, we are taking backorder into consideration, minimal quantity threshold, and all that reservation already placed. So currently we have the linear dependency on the catalog size and the number of products assigned to particular stock. So that if we have like 1,000 product and we have 10,000 product, the performance would be like 10 times slower. Let's say it that way. But along with that, we will export the correct quantities. But potentially, if we will just agree to provide an option to neglect reservation and just make a dump of the stock table, that operation will be quite fast, and we would not have any linear dependency on the catalog size, so that the operation would be very fast. We'll just make a dump of the existing table and send it as a result set.
Okay, appreciate it. Yeah, I think that should work. I'm not intimately, I guess, familiar with how this service works. Is it possible? Does it return the entire catalog? Is it possible to specify a SKU range or a set of SKUs?
Currently, we are accepting two parameters. The first parameter is the stock ID. So MSI, for the stock ID for MSI is the entity which maps to the sales channel. So this is pretty much the entity which would be mapped to the Amazon sales channel, for example. And the second parameter is a search criteria. So this is the object which provide a possibility to apply different filtration. For example, you can add the filtration for products beyond exported, so that you can specify the range of SKUs, or you can apply any other filtration for product beyond exported.
Perfect. Yeah, I think that answers our use case for sales channels then. Thank you.
Cool. Thank you, Ryan. So probably we have the last question to Mark. If we all agree that we will add this option, like internally we call it turtle mode and the rabbit mode, so the quick and slow.
Yeah.
So whether it makes sense to add it as a UI configuration or just to provide an ability, let's say, configure it via the DI. I mean, switch between these two modes.
Well, how does the user use it in this case? Is this an API? Because I didn't think there was any. It's not integrated with the standard Magento export.
Yeah,
so
it's not integrated yet. So currently it's just a web API.
Then I don't think we need any setting in the admin to do so.
Mm-hmm.
That can either be I'll leave that up to you. Either can be two different APIs with different names, or one API that has a parameter.
Okay.
To choose.
Makes sense. So this is exactly like how we consider it's gonna be done. Cool. Thank you. Eugen, you can continue.
Yeah, we still have some items on today's agenda. So just want to make sure if Bettina, if you're all ready now, or you need some more time.
Yeah. No, I'm good. Sorry
Perfect.
about that.
Perfect.
Yeah, so what we had to talk about was the partial transfer interface. It's actually implemented in a REST API. So the idea is to be able to transfer partial stock amounts from one source to another. Currently, we only have full stock transfer. So if you want to transfer from source A to source B, the full amount will be moved. We want to move only a few items for a given SKU. So the API, I think it's this endpoint, and basically we just specify a set of SKUs and the quantities to move, origin, destination, and there are just a few validations, the same as for the other bulk transfer, so validating that sources exist and that they're not the same, and then validating that the amount of that product is available at the source, at the origin source. So in this case, I have the default source, which is still enabled, and then two warehouses, which go to combined stock.
Sorry, Bettina, for interrupting you. Are you supposed to share the screen?
I'm not. Yeah, sorry
You're
about
not
that.
sharing.
All right, this part. All right, so I was talking about this product. So you can see here, there's the combined stock, which combines warehouse A and warehouse B, and then the default stock. Can you see Postman sharing there?
Yep.
All right. So here I have that SKU. I want to move a quantity of 5 from let's say default to warehouse A.
Actually, Bettina, sorry, we only see the admin. We only see the admin screen. The postman's not coming through.
Okay. Share this one as well.
There we go. Perfect.
All right. So let me see. I think, I ran it twice, so I had 90 items at default and then something like 60 at warehouse A, and then I moved it and it just moved validation passed. And then if we go back here, then you see that it was all updated. The combined stock was updated as well. That's pretty much it. It's kind of simple. You just specify the SKUs and quantities, and it updates everything, reindexes the sources that need to be reindexed, and pretty much it. I don't know if you have any questions.
Probably we don't have questions. So everything looks good. And
it looks great. Igor, do you know do we have a plan then integrate this in the mass action, or we just keep it as an API?
It depends on you, Mark. If you'll tell that we need to integrate, we will do it.
Right. Okay. We can look at it. It's probably a lower priority. The top priority was what we just saw, getting the API in place, for
Yeah.
sure.
For us, it was always so the usability and the was always a question how to specify particular quantity for this partial transfer. That was always the most problematic part.
Right, and yeah, I won't get into that because I remember how long that discussion took last time. So, yeah.
But at least now we already have a service, and currently we already have several potential applications for this service, because initially the idea for this partial transfer appeared when we were discussing the in-store pickup, and that if we need to fulfill the inventory on particular source, which is used for in-store pickup and which has a lack of products for particular order fulfillment. So that Bettina initially proposed to use this partial transfer in the scope of the in-store pickup track. And yeah, so this is one of the particular application of this service where it can also be incorporated.
Great.
So currently we agreed not to incorporate that service, but potentially it can be used in quite a lot of scenarios. So thank you very much, Bettina. This service definitely matters for us, and we will proceed with working on it. And like Mark said, we'll add particular ticket to add source to source particular transfer on admin UI.
Great. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. I think we still have 2 more items on the agenda and not too much time. So the next one would be the updates from the store pickup track. I'm not sure if Alexander or Maxim is going to talk, but guys, either of you, please.
Hello, guys. We'll be short. Okay, so this week was spent to analyze ability of using a pickup location from the technical perspective, and also possibility to add it as a new auto-generated entity. And we decided to keep it like it is for now. So we will use extension attributes. This is from in-store pickup in general. Also, we have good progress in covering order flow from the side of management, so from back office side. And I think more about it will tell Maxim Novik.
Hi everyone. My update will be short enough. Store pickup is being developed slowly but confident. So last week an epic issue about adding a ready for pickup button, or not last week, this week, was finally merged. There is 81 comments. Also Captain Obvious was involved in that, as you can see. You're not sharing your screen. I'm not sharing my 1 second. My fail. I'm still trying.
No worries, Max. I'm always struggling with making my screen sharing on a Blue Jeans.
Okay, so if you presented last Friday, it's finally merged. There were about 81 comments with reworks and discussions. You can see Captain Obvious there, but finally it's merged. So what's going now? We will work under powering this functionality by integration and functional testing. And I have a question to Mark. There is a case when we have an order placed using store pickup, but customer is still able to ship the order in the usual way. So what the behavior should be in this case? I can suggest two ways. The first one, the most simple, is just to hide the ship button in the main panel. And the second one is to forbid to ship orders placed using store pickup if customer is not notified yet. So the only way to ship the order is to use the functionality implemented.
Yeah, so
which notifies the customer.
we discussed this on our last grooming, and it's important to give the merchant still the opportunity to really do whatever they want. So the normal flow for in-store pickup order is the order is placed, the merchant gets it ready, then clicks the ready for pickup button, the customer gets an email, they come and collect it. That's the normal flow. But if for some reason, an in-store pickup order came in and the merchant decided they needed to ship it, so maybe the customer called in. A business use case for this is frequently I use in-store pickup if I travel. So I need something, I can't get it in time before I need to leave for my trip, so I do an in-store pickup of somewhere I'm going. Maybe it gets to the store late or something, and now I'm not going to be in a place I can get that anymore. So if I call the merchant, maybe they'll ship it to me. We need to let the merchant have the ability to do that, so we shouldn't prevent them from shipping an in-store pickup order. It would just be not the normal flow.
Okay, so notifying customer functionality should be okay. So if the order is being shipped using the usual way, we should be able to notify the customer anyway, independently from this.
The customer then would be notified with a normal order shipment template email. So there's no difference from a regular order in that case.
Okay, that's fine.
I believe that merchant would have to change the address also, because currently for store pickup orders, I think we were targeting to use the store pickup shipping method and the address of the pickup point. So basically, I think on the merchant side it would be one or two additional actions, and should we guide the merchant somehow that should be done.
Yeah, I was thinking really quickly of ways we can handle that. I mean, if it's an in-store pickup order and they click ship, we can take out the ship to address, because the store would not be useful as an address. Optionally, I mean, we could replace it with the default shipping address of the customer. That's probably the best idea, and then still give them the ability to change that if they need to. So if they click the ship button on an order that's in store pickup, it should use as the ship to address the customer's default shipping address. If they do not have a default shipping address, then that can be empty, and the merchant still can change that on the shipping page if they need to.
Sounds good.
Just one question. So if he preserves that option that customer can change his mind, and instead of in-store pickup, he will prefer just a general shipment, whether we should support another case when customer just ordered regular shipment, but for some reason he decided to change his mind and prefer to go and grab the order in any pickup location. So that, I mean, if the order been placed with the shipment, should we show the notify and the pickup location? So just like. to consider order like in-store pickup when it was created like a regular order?
We could. I'm more hesitant to do that because that seems against the flow of shipping a normal order.
Should we schedule another meeting for this?
Yeah, let's schedule another one. I would say that the case we already discussed is more important. That's where you have an option to ship an in-store pickup order. Sounds like we've already covered our plan for doing that, and we can do another grooming on the second question.
Okay, so at least we are unblocked now because we are covering we know how to cover the most the most usable case, and the one we can postpone. Okay, so this is pretty much all from our guest who made the presentation. So the last one probably gonna be me, and I will make the short announce of the upcoming MSI release. So in a week or maybe in 10 days, we're going to release MSI version 1.1.2, and in the scope of this version, we will release the support of B2B. So because currently, till now, the B2B could use just default stock, but as you have already seen during this demo, we already incorporated support of quick order, and now quick order can work with multi-sources. Also, we have a corresponding fix for acquisition list, so that along with 1.1.2 release of MSI, we will fully support B2B to use all the benefits of MSI. Also, we're going to release MSI and GraphQL. So this is pull request already been presented during previous demo a week ago, and now it's merged so that you can try to work and play with it on MSI mainline, so to the 3 develop branch. So it's already there. We're going to deliver some various performance improvements. Also, we deliver in the CLI tooling, where we provide an ability to define all the orders and SKU where we have some inconsistencies with sellable quantity, and also we'll try to provide the tool which is supposed to compensate the existing problem, so that we'll correct existing problems and the corrupted sellable quantity. Also, we will release the export of stock data, so the functionality which also was presented during this meeting. Also, we will release quite a big chunk of work which was created and presented by Ricardo and Pesta on a previous meeting, where we provide the asynchronous synchronization between legacy and new inventory mechanism. So this part of work is supposed to improve the performance of product save operation. Also, we're going to deliver some UI enhancements. Some of these enhancements being presented during this meeting as well. And also, we will deliver the web API for partial source-to-source transfer. So this functionality also been presented during this demo by Bettina. And yeah, so this is pretty much all. So we have and also along with that, we fixed more than 10 bugs. So it's gonna be pretty big release actually. And then we will be more dedicated on 2 big features. So in-store pickup and the bundle product support. So the tracks we already started, but they will not get to the upcoming release. So the upcoming release is gonna be patch release, so 1.1.2, and it will be released pretty soon. So this is pretty much all for this release. So and for this demo, this demo meeting was quite long, so it was more than 1 hour. Sorry for that, but we had quite a lot of interesting presentation for you. And actually, this is the main reason. And now we will switch to Tom, who will show us the quality assurance updates and what the status we have with regression testing, because during this week we also finished regression testing of 2.3.1 and the develop branch plus the latest MSI mainline. So Tom, feel free to.
Thanks, Igor. I will make this brief for everyone. No huge news, as Igor said. Hopefully we have PowerPoint up here. There we go. So our current snapshot of where we are, as Igor said, we completed a regression cycle for the 1.1.0 release. That was over 600 tests executed. We have an upcoming patch in 1.1.2. We were in the last week getting build failures. We've now fixed those in 2 places. So as Eugene mentioned earlier, we've updated MFTF tests in PR 2165 due to the removal of the source code column in the product sources grid. So we're continuing to modify those tests as we make UI changes. There will be further as we make more of those UI cleanup tickets through. And there was some Travis automated static failures on code styles. Again, updates have been made to that. So we're back to green, looking good for good quality testing for that 1.1.2 patch. Beyond that, we're looking at over the last week, 15 issues open, 4 closed. I'm focused on bugs. So 3 bugs. One of which is currently open. It's a top 10 bug out there, 2156. You can all look at that if anyone wants to pick it up. But that's our one major bug currently open that was created within the last week. We'll run through automated. There's been essentially no change in automated. These numbers are still true as of the March 22nd. That hasn't been updated because automation hasn't moved beyond fixes. So no new tests, just fixes. The number since we completed that 1.1.0 regression has jumped from 602 to 625 total. So just since finishing the regression, we've added 23 for new features. So there is an increase in test coverage as we develop. Severity and component are all the same as before for automation, showing our focus in sales and catalog primarily. And then the manual testing that is here. So we see an increase in the sales and catalog numbers again, which is our focus. And then this is the manual test execution complete for 1.1.0. Highlights there is that we executed 602 tests, had a very good pass rate. As we can see, our totals on the bottom, 16 fail, 22 skip, 4 block. All of that sort of investigation in progress, closing some things out, making test updates. So obviously we want that number to be, full pass, but it's still a good result. We're dealing with the failures that came out of it, and then we'll have updates as we go forward, hopefully bringing these numbers down. But that was a very brief quality update as per usual. This will be in the community weekly, and any questions about any of this testing can come straight to me. Hope that was brief enough for you, Igor.
Yes, Tom, thank you very much. Apparently Igor is already busy with some new pull requests, so
Okay, cool.
Okay, this is all we have for today, guys, and thank you for spending this much time with us. We really appreciate your attention. Have a good week then.
Thank you.
Have a good weekend. Yeah, thank you, guys.
Thanks, everybody.